You don't have to ask my permission.
I apologize. That was me twice. Can you go
Oh,
back over that 3 sevens again, please?
oh, okay, the 3 7. Well, everything, let me preface that so people can understand what I'm saying. Mathematics, according to spiritual vibration, is only used at this particular level of life because it's used to excuse me, to discover the formulas of life. And each formula has nature that's accorded to it, and they run in sevens. Your first 7 years on life is your childhood. From that 7 to your next 7, you go into adolescence. And from adolescence in the next 7, you go into adulthood. And then the sevens go all the way up until you get to 49, because after you go to 7 times 7, I believe it is, equals 49, you're supposed to be in a position to give back to the world what you have learned. And 49 through numerology is 4 plus 9, and it equals 13. And 13 is the number of the master. Jesus had 12 disciples. He made 13. King Arthur had 12 knights. He made the 13th, the 12 minerals plus the sun, so forth and so on. Everything equates out in a mathematical formula so it could be expounded on by those who interpret it. Not the ones who write history, because history in and of itself is distorted. Whoever winning the war is the hero. He writes the history, but the science cannot be denied because it's the truth all the way across the board. And this is why you shed and get new skin every 7 years. You get a replenishing of cells every 7 years. The body goes through a regeneration every 7 years. So, it rejuvenates itself for its next level. So when you understand that and you associate that with just, your physical being and the struggles that you may be going through, you may be going through your personal, what is deemed like Armageddon. There's a duality, there's a war, there's a fight for possession of your physical. The physical is fighting the spiritual, and the spiritual is trying to guide you to bring this physical with you to show you what true happiness is in this particular vessel. Because everything is not designed to be a struggle. It's just a struggle getting to the other side. But your time on this planet to your expiration date is supposed to get to some point of having joy in your life. If even as a child, like when I was living on Atlantic Avenue, Crown Heights, and we was living under a train station. Every time the what is that? The LR double R would come through. My bed would vibrate on the but I was the happiest time of my childhood. That's before I found out we was poor. When we moved down to Crown Street and Carroll Street, in that area of Crown Heights, I'm from Carroll and Kingston, that's the heart of Jewtown in Crown Heights. Yeah, you had black doctors, black lawyers, and dentists, and it was one of those neighborhoods. It was a black type suburbs, and the Jews, and it was so peaceful over there. You had your incidents with the Jews, as I did growing up, and things. But it was overall, it was one of those neighborhoods of influence. Shirley Chisholm lived down the block from me. I played football in the street with Ronnie Dyson and Marisa Dejon and so forth and so on, making records. People that made hit records came from out of my neighborhood. And, you go through those particular changes. It's just like that, that joy I experienced with, my mother, and because all her sisters was there. Her brothers would come up from down south. All my cousins and them that lived in the Bronx that had migrated up here in the 50s and 60s, they all would come to my mother's house. My mother's house was the hub. It was Grand Central Station. That's where everybody came. And yeah, I knew joy then. You know what I'm saying? So for every level in every section of your life of your sevens, you have to learn joy so you know what to experience. And then what happens is in that first 7 years of life starts to expose itself, and you learn about the world views as you see the world around you being, especially for black children, and I speak from experience, that joy gets hardened. And sometimes, It just turns the stone in a certain period when you learn certain things, about your family, the limits of what you can have in a grocery store or department store and things of that nature, and the look on your mother's face when she can't get it for you, that joy that you once knew as a child when everything was just innocent, it turns into something else. And if you don't know how to get back there, you join the rat race. Disliking of schools and this and that, and the learning to envy other people, not just being jealous, but envy. You just to the point that you wish you had. I think jealousy is a whole different vibration because jealousy can get violent, but envy is just wishing you had what another person has. And, everybody does that. From when the '60s and all the way up. You know, wishing you was a temptation, or you had that family like Leave It to Beaver, or your dog. You can talk to your dog like Lassie. He can come in and bark and tell you that Timmy's in the well and run back and bark outside. To go get a rope because we're gonna need a rope for this mission. And you look at your dog and you try and you say, man, why you can't do that? And you're in that area of fantasy when the mind and the imagination works. And when you lose your imagination, you lose your ability to grow until you reattach to your imagination, because your imagination is your guide. So when worlds get cold and stiff for you and doors don't open, imagine another door opening. The same way you could take a piece of wood and drive it across the living room floor like you had the newest motorized car. When you was a kid, your imagination allowed you to turn nothing into something. And you have to reattach to that. That is the rebirth that is spoken about in the Bible, being born again. Finding that innocence puts you in a spiritual realm, because nothing can cause you to be off balance at that point, And you sit down and you come to understand that, you're a small piece in a very, very grand scheme of things. The universe is constantly expanding. The human mind is supposed to capture that expansion at its own level, but people don't do it. And when you don't expand, you get into conflict with yourself and others. Look at Israel and Palestine right now. I don't wish harm on anybody. The street violence and that thing that's going on over there, missiles and rockets the size of cars is being shot. That's no way for anybody to live, let alone a child. And the elderly in their latter years. It's amazing, and it's just because egos get in the way. What you see around you is conflict, and that's why conflict resolution is so important. When you understand, the egos of others, it's not just men. You have some very, very vicious women in this world. You know what I'm saying? So, you have to understand that particular concept. And this is where your war begins. They train you as a child. You watch a cartoon. For me, most times it was that cartoon Casper when he was in one of those flux situations where he didn't know what to do. A devil would pop up on one shoulder and a ghost angel would pop on the other, and they would argue with one another. They would state their case to Popeye and why he should do it and how he should do it. And, I don't have to tell you what the devil said. I have to tell you what the angel said. Then he would make this decision, and he would always do good. But it shows that there was a duality in everything. You know what I'm saying? And you have to learn to deal with that duality. And it's best to learn it early, or even have the concept that it exists, so when it does appear, you'll know what to do. If you're not aware of it, you're just being in conflict with yourself. You'll have those pity parties. You'll be, oh, woe is me type shit, that kind of thing. So you'll sit back and you'll figure it out to a point that either it breaks you or makes you. You see people who are broke. You see them all over the streets, pushing carts, 80 bags, that conflict. some other things have contributed to it. More times out of 10, it's just one thing piled on another to the human mind. The physical mind can't take it no more. That would move the physical in the way that it just can't take it no more. And then it goes in and it breaks down the spirit, and the spirit just, goes into recession. And, because everybody can snap out of it. We've seen those stories on the news and 2020 and Dateline and things of that nature. So we know it's possible. We just don't know how the process works and what's required in the process in order to make it work. And there lies, your things, what you was talking about earlier about facts. See, facts are stubborn. There's no arguing a fact, whether it's a moral issue or anything. A fact is a fact, and it runs across the board, and it cuts deeply into opinions, because you have to make sense of what you're saying as a fact, because fact is worldwide felt, and then you have to understand, there are facts, and there are alleged facts, and there are acceptable facts. Like we accept the fact that 1 and 1 is 2, so it has become a fact. We accept the fact that this happened 2,000 years ago. That's an acceptable fact because we don't know for a fact because we didn't witness it. But the spiritual side of you had. That's why they say the body is old and the spirit is new. And that's why when you're attached to a particular part of history, how most blacks are attached to Africa spiritually. We're all are, some just don't recognize it because they haven't had the ability to put the sevens into play. The chakras might be misaligned, and you come to understand, again, how close you are related to the universe, the 9 planets, the 9, the solar systems, and the 9 planets equating to the systems that you have in your body. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just amazing. You're in a solar system, and when you come to understand how that works within your body, you see how closely you're related to it. You're a part of a grander thing. You don't have to get to the point where you have to think beyond, physical parents and their lineage, where did they come from? Because that has a beginning too. So, and it's in that beginning that when they were in line with nature, when they built monuments for nature, based upon the movement of the planets of their particular solar system, where you have pyramids who are built to a point where a star that comes around X amount of years shines divinely into the top of it. It was an amazing thing, and you're attached to that, historically and spiritually. So, there's certain things that trigger the spirit that we all feel it in a universal way at times. And that's just to show you how kinetic energy works as it moves across, and you learn that in your 7 trimesters too. Not trimesters, but semesters, because each point is a graduating point. That's why, the passage of right to manhood comes at a certain age. A certain number has to be in play, when you make that transition, from childhood to adolescence to adulthood to godhood. And understanding godhood is just understanding of being entwined with your spiritual side now, because you have enough evidence upon studying just even nature and some research, because once you start researching, it becomes so amazing that you don't stop. That's the thing about when you start learning about who you are, even in terms of astrology, and things like that, because I find astrology to be fascinating when you know what you're doing with it, because of the vibrations that you were born under. They've been recorded, and, people can predict what you will be, and people over here have distorted it. Geminis get along with Scorpios, and Scorpios don't like Libras, and, they play with Most of the things that they do when they get our history. Voodoo, they made voodoo so dark, but voodoo was actually a religion in Africa. I think it was West Africa. But now over here in the Western Hemisphere, it's some kind of black magic. And so, you have to be very, very careful in the perspectives that you pick things up on. Because in Africa, we were very mathematical people. We were architects and, scientists and creators of medicine and Hotep and things of that nature. We come from a very great stock, the greatest stock known to man. And, this is what and you have to come to understand in that too. And there's a spiritual side of that you have to grasp on even with that. In order to understand that, you're brothers by blood. Your mother is the creator of all. Your mother and father, your physical mother and father. As you go all the way down the line, there's too many greats to continue. Great, 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 grandmother. There's just too many. We understand the greatness that is enriched in your blood, the chemical that you have been given. That makes you a special people. And at the same time, some of the most hated people. You understand what I'm saying? I was explaining that to somebody just the other day that, when you're viewed in the street by perspective alone, you're always openly carrying a weapon. Melanated people have been born with a weapon. Your greatest gift is a weapon to the world, and that's the color in your skin. You're emulated everywhere, from women with the BBLs to getting the tans to the style of way that they talk. The archetype of beauty, always been the archetype of beauty. Even when it was being suppressed, that most of the things that Caucasian women fell in love with, they got from black women. Some of you may not be old enough to remember the movie, I think it was 10. Bo Derek wore cornrows and the whole world went crazy. And black women been wearing cornrows since we've been in the country. You know what I mean? So in understanding the whole script of it and how the spiritual works in your sevens, and you'll come to the understanding of that, but you have to stay within the framework of your sevens and know what each group of seven brings. And now you can review it. You can just go back and review your history from as far back till you can remember and review everything you went through. There's going to be conversations that's going to come back up that you always going to remember, and, there's going to be some advice, both good and bad, and see which one led you on the path that you're on, and you're not comfortable in the path, and look at the advice that was given on the other side. Because even that comes in duality. One piece of advice going to lead you the wrong way, may lead you wrong, and the other one will put you on the path that you belong on. So you have to go back and review that so you can see where you have traveled to it. If you don't like where you're going, now it's time to go in reverse. Go back that way, the way you came, and look for the other side, the other piece of advice that said, no, don't do that, do this. And just review it, whether it's your grandmother, your siblings, your friend, something somebody may have said on television that triggered something in you that nobody else got but you. All of those signs come to you because, you have to manifest the truth no matter what it is, what form of media you take. The truth has to be in there. Everything else is an illusion. And then, you understand how it all works to the mind by, feeding it what it needs to be fed in order for the media to work, How much money it costs for commercials. What makes Coca-Cola better than Pepsi or McDonald's better than Burger King? It's the way that they advertise and how they sell it to the people. And people believe in what they see. This guy drinks Pepsi, that's why they get paid so much to advertise certain people's things. Michael Jordan and his Jordan sneakers and Pepsi and Big Mac and all those other things. They pay billions and billions of dollars to get into your living room. That's why you have to pay attention to the commercials, because the commercials will give you the pulse of what's going on around the world. I've been saying since I came home, about 21 going into 22, how the commercials of, people who are supposed to be in relationships have changed on on TV. You don't see that many black couples anymore. Most of the couples that you see are mixed couples with mixed babies. No matter how it goes, black woman, white man, vice versa. Just pay attention to it. The cartoons, everything. Fathers and sons, fathers white, the son or the daughter's black. It's really, it's what was that thing with Mr. Willis in them back in the days? With what you talking about? Whatever his name was. What you talking about, Willis? Whatever the name of that show was. The seed to that was pumped into America way back then, and it's come true to today. So you understand what's turning over, but again, you find that line of truth even in the commercials, how it's advertised to you. That's why the churches, certain preachers are so successful, because they're advertising whatever it is. Joel Osteen and T.D. Jakes, all of these are prosperity preachers. So they're advertising prosperity. Other ones are spiritual teachers, so they apply to that. And then there's so many wolves in sheep's clothing up there, and the money, and the guy, he waves his jacket and people just fall. The whole section of the church, they just got the breeze of his jacket pass all out. And it's just amazing what people will believe, but it's how it works. Because you have to have the duality of it, the real and the fake, and sometimes you have to go through the fake to get to the real. That's how you get to diamonds. To pay attention to nature. It's a dirty job. You dig, you find a rock, you clean it, buff it, bot it out, and melt it, and heat and pressure, and shine it up, polish it, cut it up the way it's supposed to be cut up, and put it in the ring and ask for just untold millions of dollars for it.
Mission to speak.
Yes. Yeah. Brother Leo.
What's going on, brother?
How you, bro? All right.
Good, brother. I came on late, brother. But I'm coming in the middle of a conversation. But I want to ask you a couple of questions about a couple of things I said. And the show was called Different Strokes with Willis and them.
Okay, all right. Yeah, facts. Facts.
I wanted to ask you, out of all of what you said, I hear everything you're saying, because I definitely do a lot of research, brother, on our history. It's kind of hard to get some of our people to even want to even go back and do any type of research. And then when you bring it to the table, they find no truth. And let me ask you a question, brother. Do you think that we're living in the Jetson days, or we coming to it?
Well, we've always lived under technology, bro. This technology is just not as secretive as other technologies. There was a time in Egypt when, you had the mystery system where everybody wasn't invited to study. Chosen few were allowed to study under that particular system, and that particular technology built the pyramids. That is technology that we've seen. So far, it's greater than the technology that we have today. So after we're asking if we're living in the Jetson age, again, it has an upward movement to it. The technology with the new scientists of today are going to make far more advanced things. Yes. So we, this is what we call the Jetson time. Because I remember, seeing that as a kid, and, Star Trek and portals where people could fly through it, all those kind of things. Yes, I believe we living in the Jetsons time, as according to what technology was doing then in the cartoon. Yes, art. Again, life imitating art.
I know there were. When I listen to you talk, you're a source of information that's, incredible. And sometimes you can't speak and talk to people that's not thinking like that. I know they had weapons way back. I'm going way back that they're still looking for right now that they can't find. We're talking about, when maybe I was trying to think of Thoth, when Thoth was around, the weapons that he had to freeze everybody to talk to them. I don't know if you know the story. But anyway, you answered the question about whether we live in just days. Because when I went back to look at that then, and when I look at what's going on now, man, we have come a long way. And you're right, when it comes down to that technology, when they built them pyramids, they still don't know how they got them pyramids built like that. And they're all over. They're all over. I know. Studying them, I know that they are a source of energy that when you put it together, they're supposed to all connect all over the world. You mentioned something else too. You mentioned, and I'm glad you said that, brother, and you brought that up about when you talked about how they want us to believe that when we look at some of these books, the one that you mentioned voodoo, and how they pegged it to be bad, but it wasn't bad. If people just pick up some of these books and read them that they telling us that we shouldn't because they're bad, they will know it wasn't bad. And if you do, and you start reading, you'll understand why they're trying to hide the truth from us. But you're right, brother, because I read a lot of that stuff, a lot of the books, brother, especially the ones they took out of the Bible, the book called the Bible. I read all of them, and I see why they didn't want us to read them, because that's where the truth lies, right there in those books, not in the 66. So thank you, brother, for bringing this source of information that you bring, brother. Appreciate
all right, I appreciate y'all too, bro. That's what it's about. It's about linking up now. Because I'm telling you, and I'm telling you, this is, as just watch nature, and that's all I can say. Equate nature to some of the things that you've read, and whether it was a Hood novel or Sports Illustrated, and look at it and filter it through what you see around you, because everything you see around you is an aspect of nature. If you are believing, no matter, as a matter of fact, it's actually no matter what you believe in. If you're an evolutionist, or if you're one who believes in God as a creator, or if you believe in, single cell organism and the binary count and all of those things that are associated with whatever you believe brought us forth, it's all it has to be under a divine order, because there's only two orders. There's chaos and there's a divine order. And somebody had to design it in order for it to work, even if you believe in single-cell organism. Energy had to come from somewhere for this to manifest from a single-cell organism to human beings as we know them today. Something had to be in charge of all of that energy coming together to make that work, So and whether you call it energy, universal, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, it doesn't make a difference, because it's just only one source of energy, and in that energy there's a duality, a masculine and a feminine. That's why we say, we don't understand it sometimes, because most of us learned it from a commercial. It's not nice to fool with Mother Nature. I like to call her God's wife. That polarity in and of itself, wet, dry, day, night, masculine, feminine, energy must exist. Masculine energy can't exist by itself. Neither can feminine energy. There's no way that it can exist according to the numbers and sciences that we have when we go back to our number system. On the next level, the spiritual level, you won't need numbers, because you'll be under vibration. You'll understand the laws of vibration then. You have those who get that spiritual reward right here on earth. And I mean those who get it from a vibrational point of view, from a spiritual thing. I'm not talking about those who just take for a living. You're going to see those kind of people. People who con people into money, out of their money and things. You're going to always see rich people. But spiritually rich is different than monetary rich. They're two different understandings, two different vibrations. you know. And that's why you get to saying, money can't buy you happiness. Joy is the root of happiness. Joy is a spiritual experience, an innocence of when I was living under the L train station and everything was just lovely. Eggs and rice for dinner. Just it, eggs and rice, buttered rice. My family playing music, my Aunt Christina dancing. My Aunt Lee, she's like this fashion designer, and she's, an interior decorator, and she's fixing up the house. It was just a wonderful time. All my cousins there, music playing, people dancing, people eating. It was just that time. And then, like I said, I found that we was poor, and we weren't really liked. They didn't like us when we moved over there in Jewtown. So that eliminates the joy because you always got to be on point. And it turned into some real tough times over there. It was like everybody else, from the Irish and the Italians, and then a lot of people around my way just was, they were well to do. They didn't want nothing to do with it. If it didn't happen to them, but me and a couple of dudes from around my way, we weren't feeling like that, and and it turned into some things because it was forced upon us. Even when you look at what goes on in the world and world wars, again, we're talking about a mindset. Where's the person's spirit at? The Palestine and the Israel, it's a thing in Israel right now. Ukraine and Russia. The invasion of Africa by the Asians. And all the other ones are already there. So world has had conflict. And it's a natural thing. Weed kill weeds, animals kill animals. Insects kill insects. Nature is in and of itself, hurricanes, fires, tornadoes, wiping out all parts of the country as the earth cleanses itself. Because even if you believe in Scripture, this was bound to happen. God said that he would seek vengeance on those who oppress His people, and you see it and you don't give God credit now. There's no credit given to God. When it's a beautiful day and it's sunny and you like the weather, and you're on the beach and you're thanking God for this great weather, who do you think sent the bad weather? Who do you think sent that? Who sent them tornadoes? The devil ain't got that much power, because you got to remember, God kicked the devil out, so the devil is a little fella. He's a little fella compared to God. People talk about the devil like he's on level with God. Nah. If he was on level with God, he wouldn't be down here messing with us. So it ain't the devil that sent them tornadoes and them. It ain't the devil that said, I'm going to repay you. And then you messed up all my air, climate change. You got all this going on. Let me show you what happens when you start thinking that you really running shit, and all this is happening now. Now you got to get flood insurance. If you live on the 7th floor of the projects, it might be all up in your house, So, you got to prepare for what's happening now, and you got to recognize those signs. It's almost like, certain animals, they have this sense that they can tell you when something weird is going on. Now they're even proving that dogs and cats can smell illness in your body, such as cancers and things of that, and tumors and things of that nature. And even when you see it on the movies, like when the Martians discover the animals just break out, birds start flying, cows start mooing, horses start running around in the stable, dog under the porch, and you sitting in the living room watching the Yankees. Shit. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna watch. And this is what we have to do. And this is what happens when you get in line with one another. Because those who really understand it, who can speak on it better than I can, will be in the loop, because now they know that there's some people out there who will listen to them. That's why you see this thing on TikTok is such a sensation to me for black people, because there are a lot of people on TikTok that are making sense. You know, there are a lot of women who are trying to regroup the sisters from all this nonsense that they're caught up in, their dress codes and the BBLs and the eyelashes. They got sisters out there that's on TikTok trying to rescue them. They got brothers out there trying to rescue brothers. They got sisters and brothers trying to rescue everybody. You know, and you got to pay attention, but it's hard when the lines are blurred with a bunch of everything else. Rump shaking, jokes being told, people taking challenges of walking on milk crates, ain't got no health insurance. They falling off them crates, breaking their ribs. The crate challenge when I first came home, you know, it was amazing, you know, and nobody made the challenge. Let's have the best high school in the state. Nobody challenged them to that, but challenging to walk on some crates for $100. And you done watch 4 or 5 people fall and hurt themselves seriously, twisted their ankles and all that, and you get up there with no health insurance, you know, for $100. You know, you got people on YouTube eating this potato chip that just looks like it turns them into demons. The hottest potato chip in the world. It's funny though. It's definitely funny, you know. And then you got to get past the funny stuff, you know. And you know, and I'm good. I'm good with it because you know I know a few things. So you know, I like the funny stuff. You know, the pranks and all that. You know, because laughter in and of itself is a medicine. I forget the name of the hormone that's released when you really generally laugh. You know, it's a medicine. And so, you know, you figure out some things that come along. You know, and you stop worrying because you know you got the universe on your side. Melanated people don't even realize that they've been trying to exterminate us for years. Somebody wanted to speak?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
You was speaking on the advancement of technology, and now you speaking on social media and all that. I wanted to know how you feel about technology, the advancement of technology and social media and stuff today, because a lot of people like how fast technology is advancing and all social media and stuff, and other people say it's destroying us as the people, is destroying relationships, marriages, and everything else. I wanted to know your take.
And I mean, shit, TV was doing that. TV was doing that long before social media. All social media did was speed it up, and social media put information at your fingertips like at the speed of light. But now you have to process if the information is right, because you know this generation is a generation that believes in gossip. You see what I'm saying? But I think social media, its advancements are grand. You know what I'm saying? But like television, you know, you have to know what to intake. You know, I mean, there's times that you can laugh and joke on social media just like you can laugh and joke on TV. But if you just sit up and watch the Kardashians all day, then TV becomes your enemy. And you can do that, you know. But if you sit, you know, you take on the world events. If you find yourself in stocks and you like stocks and bonds, they have channels for that. It's just like the television bit. You know, television is not that far behind. Television is the root of it all. You know, they had those stock market guys on TV. You had infomercials on TV selling jewelry, clothes, and all that. You know, and what the internet did, it just brought everybody on board. So now you're just, you know, it's jamming your airwaves. You know, people can't come off their phones. You know, they walk and they listen to the headphones. They're not paying attention to what's going on in the street, knowing that New York City in and of itself can explode at any time. You know, innocent people being shot and things of that nature, and you're not paying attention and you're caught up in it, it becomes harmful. You know, when you allow social media to raise your children, it becomes harmful. You know what I'm saying? When your 12-year-old daughter got on clothes that she should be wearing to bed, and not in front of company anyway. She shouldn't even be wearing it in front of her father, but you allow her to go outside like that. And you have no control over it. And if you don't now, she becomes this and that because she's not accepted in her circle because her circle is being raised by social media. Now there's parts on social media. Now I've met some young men and some young women, Beagle Live and Facebook and Twitter that are just on top of their business. But just like positive music versus, negative kind of music, or what we deem to be negative kind of music, because people don't understand the difference between entertainment and education when it comes to music, and they demonize it. It's almost like, they're really on top of these rappers in a certain way because of what they're doing, and, their social media impact of it now. But they seem to forget when they was listening to, Richard Pryor. When I was young, me and my oldest brother would sneak home, listen to Red Fox, LaWanda Page, who played on Esther, and Richard Pryor, and George Carlin albums and things of that nature. So it's always been around. It's just that now it's fluid. It flows into everybody's life in one way or another. You have people who don't deal with social media. No shape, form, or fashion. No Facebook, no Twitter, none of that. But they utilize, the phone, the watch, the smart TV, the games, the virtual reality thing that you put over your face. They're experiencing technology like it's never been done before, like the thing you put over your face. When I was a kid, they had this thing called a Viewmaster that made things look like it was in 3D, and you put it up and you press your finger down and it would slide to the next slide. It was a slideshow, but it was done in 3D because of some form of binoculars or magnifying glasses, more so or less, that you would look at the picture at, So now you have this thing that slides over your head that I'm watching that. I love that on TV too, on YouTube. When the people put them things on and they fall and try to jump into the wall thinking they're on the board. Now, you're in a living room. You put this thing on your face in your living room. You're in your house. You're in your house because you was in your house when you put this thing on your face. And somehow you wind up jumping into the TV. This thing just comes into your mind, hits your subconscious, and for some reason you think you're on this plank walking off a plank on a high-rise building. And you wind up falling, and some people break their TVs or wreck up. It's just crazy. So, technology is amazing, and I like it in every aspect of it. Every aspect of it, I like it. But I know that there's a good side and there's a bad side to it. And it is what it is to you. What's good for you may not be good for me, but you might have to be there to be on the path that you're on so that you'll understand what's on the opposite side of it when you get tired of that. Because there's only so much of that you could take. It's only so much, rump shaking and comedy things. And then when you run across somebody that's saying something to you and it hits you real hard and you like what they're saying because they're expressing what you're feeling, you used to hear comedians say that all the time. Bernie Mac was famous for that. I'm just saying what you won't say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I said it. Things like that because other people feel it, but they just won't say anything about it. So those are some of the things that you have to understand with social media. But I appreciate it. I wish I really knew more about it because it does make your life easier, especially if you know how to utilize it. It makes your life easier. Shopping online, you got to learn how to trust that, though. But there's some people that, they have no problem with that. They went through it and they learned from their mistakes. So some of them just never even made a mistake. They learned the rules and how to do it, and bang, and they shopped. Brick and mortar is going to be done in a minute as far as stores are concerned. They probably going to convert, old department stores into apartment buildings. So because of what it's doing right now. So that's understandable. Yes, of course.
So I think about, as you said, social media is just the next level of what we were already involved with. Just like digital currency, people are opposed to digital currency. But I share with them that we've been digital a long time. That's how you can take a plastic card, go shopping, then go online and pay the bill, and nobody's touching cash. You're not touching the cash. The store's not touching the cash. You pay the bill, you're not touching cash. We've been digital already. But now there's that currency that has a higher value that the agenda makers can't touch. Well, they don't know how to touch it anyway, or they're very afraid of how beneficial it has become to those who are in that 99 percentile, who are now probably at 89 percentile because many people got involved in a digital currency. But I look at the commercials and the cartoons when we were children, and that's just in our age, back in the 60s. When we were children, 60s and 70s, you could see the control mechanism and if you could see, you could see the control mechanism in the commercials. You could see it in the programming of the television programs that they would put on, even in the cartoons, how violent they were. So you feel now when people talk about, oh, the children are getting lost in the games. I listened to Sirius XM, and there was a program on Dimension X from the 40s. And in this program, the father came home and the mother was telling him how worried she was because the children had been up in their room since they came home from school playing on the video games. I swear this is the language. And they tried calling the children down. You know, the father wanted the son to come down so he could talk to them. And then they heard this other voice come out of the room, and they were shocked in this big bright light. So the elements from the video game sucked up the children. And of course this is all on radio. This radio classics, but this is 1942, not 2042, because we're not there yet. So all of this has been happening, and it has been in the works of programming for a long time. As you mentioned, Star, art imitating life or life imitating art. Everything we're looking at is possible. It's possible. When I was a child watching The Twilight Zone, I knew what I was watching was real. Like, I knew I was watching a TV show, of course, but the episodes and what was happening in the episodes, I knew it was real, that it wasn't fake. They just didn't put it out in the daily news as being real, even with technology. Oh boy, here we go. Watch this quickly. There is an area in Bedford-Stuyvesant where IBM had their office. You know that area, Star? IBM had their office on Gates and Nostrand.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about.
That sits on the corner.
I wasn't home for that.
From what I'm understanding, it's been there since the 70s. What I know now, well, what I was told, is that in the underground of that building, the technology is still working and operating, and they can hear and see everything that's going on, not just in Bedford-Stuyvesant, in far distances beyond that neighborhood. The technology is still operating there. So, and above ground, it's not an office building anymore. Now it's an apartment building. It's kind of like a shelter, if I'm not mistaken. But the underground is still in operation. So technology advances as it is supposed to. It's advancing, but it's advancing in a way that those who are afraid to believe do not believe. They do not believe. But it's happening. And for me, when it comes to 5G, though I don't want the extra radiation because we are electrical beings, it's probably going to take our abilities to a higher level if we stop and look and feel the energy that it's giving us. Thank you.
Okay. This is Agent. Hi, y'all. I came in late. Obane, you're touching on something that I noticed a long time ago. I've been to IBM thing when I was little, when I was younger, but since then, AT&T has put up a technology. I'm gonna say building, but they call it a museum, technology museum, and it goes from the first phones and it goes to future phones and future communication. And I went there the first time when I was in 6th grade, and they were talking about computers and stuff like that, and computers running companies and computers running neighborhoods and computers running families. And I look back at that and I'm like, that's what they talked about back then, and AT&T still have their technology museum where they talk about, space and space travel and stuff like that. And it's still there down on near Broadway and 40th Street, someplace down there. And they have all that stuff. It's called the AT&T Museum. And if anybody has time, go down there. It'll blow your mind that you see what has happened and what they predicted was going to happen. All the things they have, way past computers. And I've heard comedians talk about it. They're going to have a phone where it just works from your tongue. They put something on your tongue, and you want to make a phone call. You just said, "Hey, Abadne, how you doing?" But we laugh because it's put out there by comedians. But this stuff is real. This stuff is real.
Well, you would enjoy 60 Minutes last night. They had the guy they called the father of AI, and he's very informative, and he says there's reason to be afraid because of the fact that he shows toys, robots that were created to do one thing, but were able to process all the information that was given to them, and they wound up playing soccer. It was an amazing show, and he says that now computers have the ability to reason. And he gave one computer, AI, an example of he wanted to paint his house all white, and one room was yellow and one room was blue. What should he do? And it was amazing that what this computer answered him back and explaining to him that it would be a waste of time to put yellow over white because it's going to fade. And it was amazing. And it told him things that he didn't even ask it. But it was because of all the information that it is stored into it from the human brain, it now has the ability to reason. That's why Siri is so advanced right now, and and things of that nature. So those are things. So technology, like I said, it has its cons, but it has its pros at the same time.
That's right.
I was in the department store with some of my daughters and some of my grandma, and they was all scattered, and they called one another like, "Where you at?" And I was like, "Wow, they're in the store, just look around," but they don't even do that no more. And I was like, the benefits of that, a child having one or having a watch on him that he knows how to use that to make phone calls in case he loses his phone. It definitely has its plus side. Because you have to keep up with what's going on in the world. Like it's like now, children in schools today, they don't do fire drills no more. They do shooting drills.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So there's no more fire drills and what to do in case of fire. Now it's what to do when you're under fire.
Mm-hmm.
So things progress, and we have to recognize that, and what has caused this progression. And this is why the first step of conflict resolution is always killing your ego, and then examining examining yourself. There's good conflicts and there's bad conflicts, and you have to know how to be resolute in both areas. And again, this all falls back to your sevens. and every 7 carried a form of conflict resolution. Kids fighting over toys, adolescents fighting, boys over girls and girls over boys, and this and that, and adults doing the same thing. So there's always a conflict in the stages of 7s that you're in. 28, 35, 42, so forth and so on, and then you get to 49, and all of your experiences then have to come to a full circle. And now you're at the age when, spiritually you're supposed to be giving back to the world automatically what it is that at 49. And you take it all the way through, and the 4 and the 9 again becomes 13, and 13, that being the number of the masters. All masters have 13. It's like, and again, when you look at what Western society or Western Hemisphere have done to our culture, you see that they butchered it. You know what I'm saying? When we look at voodoo and things of that nature, when you look at the number 13 in the Western Hemisphere, it's a bad luck number. But it's the number of the masters, especially in the Christian country, Jesus, 12 disciples, Jesus made 13. King Arthur, the Knights of the Templars, King Arthur, 12 knights, he made 13. And in this country, you don't even have the 13th floor, and they do shit so that's so illogical. It's illogical because they're telling you in this hotel we don't have a 13th floor. But if you go outside and you count the windows, there's 13 windows. Anything past 12 is automatically. You can't take away a number out of the system.
Get to the next number.
So when you go from 12 to 14, you're on the 14th floor, but in reality, you're on the 13th floor. So now they shape your reality with that, and it's to keep you away from things that are really associated with you. You know what I'm saying? So, you have to be aware of what you intake. And, and you're forming, these perceptions based upon that. The black cat is bad luck. The black cat is a rare cat in the Egyptian, in the Egyptian folklore. It's a goddess named Bastet. You know what I'm saying? Everything, black was bad. And even when you know that now, they made it so everything black was bad. And black cat, black this, and you still walk around afraid of a black cat.
Oh, Lord.
It's like the person. It's like the person that doesn't eat meat. The PETA people and things of that nature. But you got on leather. You got on leather shoes. Your purse is leather. It's the same cow that I'm eating. You wearing. So things, there's, conflicts in people that, are not really true to what it is that they say that they're true to. So you have to beware all the time of what are you forming. This is what I was telling young man Aaron. You have these flash opinions, and your opinions are not based in fact in and of itself because of what you say. Not that I'm saying that your facts are wrong, but what you didn't give me a fact, you gave me an opinion. You gave me a strong opinion that you think is based in facts, but your facts are contradictory by the things that you say. So you have to know how to repackage that and then express, what you believe a fact to be. And remember now, your facts are just your strong opinions because there's no arguing facts because facts are facts. Facts are stubborn. You know what I'm saying? It's a fact. That bricks are hard. It's not a fact that cigarettes give you cancer. It's just a fact that cigarettes give a lot of people cancer. Some people smoked their whole life and never got cancer. And then you have some people that didn't smoke and got cancer. So that should have told us right there that cigarette smoke is not the only cause of cancer. It's a cause of a form of cancer. You know what I'm saying? So, all cancer is not being associated with cigarettes. But there is a form of cancer that is associated strongly with cigarettes. So let's understand what it is that we say when we say it. So, and that's just an example that, you hear a lot of people use. You watch those St. Jude commercials, those, if I ever get some money, I would donate to them. They're just amazing.
Yeah.
And these are children, these are children that never smoked a cigarette in their life. That in and of itself should tell you something if you're paying attention to it as a whole. because this way you know that you need to address it in a different manner. Especially when you see the effects that it have on children. So those are just when you look at your aspects and how you're forming your perceptions of the world. This is why it's always so important. The 7 years of a child's life, the first 7. Not the conception in and of itself, because all of that is the stage 2. The conception is the stage. Like that's why you see people talking to the mother's belly and putting speakers on the stomach and making it say the ABCs, like the child can understand that ABC. That's not how that works. It's just all he's getting is a vibration. That's all the child is getting. His brain is not even formed fully yet, and you got these big, brought this big old pair of headphones to fit over your woman's stomach, and you're just sending an unnatural vibration to the baby, because the mother's vibration should be the only one that he gets. I mean, you could talk to your baby and all that, but you're not going to do that for a half an hour like that tape you got in that's flowing through that headphone. So you have to understand that aspect of it too. That's when I say you got to be careful who tells you what to do with your children. You know what I mean? Some things don't make sense when you understand it through the form of nature. You know what I'm saying? They don't bring zebras in from the wild so they can have, babies, listening to, the average white band or something. It doesn't happen that way. And women, so. Conception all the way, but information progresses, science, according to them, science changes, and these are things, and this is why they don't last too long. And it's gotten to the point that women are getting doulas more so now than ever, going with the natural childbirth from which she came from. You have a baby, and boy, listen. That bill from having that baby, and then through school, then through college, and these were just some things that you just used to do without that until we came here, and we had to go through their system now because we're in a land, where they don't even allow us to speak our language. You know what I'm saying? So that takes its whole toll, and this is part of when they came out of Africa. Imagine the joy that they were living in, being free, not being joy, not being in what's the word
bondage.
I'm looking for?
Bondage.
No, not bondage. I mean, they weren't living a trouble-free life over there neither. They had their issues over there, but they were in joy. The kids were kids, and they were running. They were living by their culture and tradition. Next thing you know,
freedom.
You're on the bottom of a boat, chained up. Your joy is hardened. Your joy is hardened. The women's joy is hardened. The men, the children. But can you imagine what that must have been like? It's almost, when you look at the transition of understanding where you're at, when the whole world around you is evolving in ways that they're telling you this is the upward mobility of being an American, whether you're African American, and then they take you out of the equation. They won't give you work. They don't want to give you school. They want you to do this for the rest of your life as a sharecropper after the physical bondage was gone, and where were they going to go, and the tricking was in. You can live on the land, take care of it. We're going to give you housing, blah, 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 this, that, and that was income housing, the invention of low-income housing. But the price, again, was high because it dealt with you, the hardening of your spirit. It's just like most people that live in the projects. They have hardened spirits. Not all, but most, because it's a hard existence. It really is, and so once you figure it out and you start again moving yourself out of the way, and you go from there. Yes.
I just wanted to say I was just getting a good laugh when I came on and was hearing you just getting a chuckle out of everything that's going on, and just saying, we can't be in fear. Things have to progress and move forward and we can't stay the same, and in life, the situation and technology, all of that, everything has to advance, even us. And when we no longer moving forward, that's when we're done. You know what I'm saying? So we got to consistently move forward. So I was just laughing, because the people really are in the frenzy about a lot of different things in the fear. But, at the same time, there's some that are seeing what's going on, and they're preparing for the changes. And I was even listening to a Vitamin show earlier, and the guy was saying, there's definitely some changes coming down the pipeline, and how the other nations are coming together, forming their own currency, and, to block out the United States and stuff, and make our dollar go down and not have the same value. So, when we learned, and this is possible through technology, once again, that we can prepare for a crisis and different situations that come up. We can prepare for good times, bad times, hard times, you know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of technology. So we have to learn to live in the world that we're in and use it to our advantage. Like you said, the young people are using it to push their businesses. Some people are using it to use their gifts and talents and display what they have and make their lives better. So, as you said, always there are the pros and the cons of everything. All that we have around us, there's always going to be pros and cons. So it's up to each individual to make the best out of whatever we have around us, and the information, the technology, whatever we have. It's up to us to make the best out of it. And like you said, conflict resolution is where we need to start. We always need to start with ourselves, assessing ourselves, figuring out where we are and how we need to move forward. So with that being said, I'm excited about you coming to Newark, New Jersey tomorrow.
Oh, y'all better sit for me then.
Let me. I'm glad you brought that up. Now, let me ask you something. Now, we're in a school environment, right?
Yes, we are.
We're in a school environment. More so like this is more so going to be a PTA crowd, parents, teachers, and the kids.
Yes, okay. So that makes, yep.
And this is a public school?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Principal is that what was the person's name? Rhonda that you put in the
Randolph is the yes. Randolph is not the principal, but she's the parent liaison. She's the one in charge of these workshops and meetings. So Organization of Unity Empowerment are coming with healing hearts and mending minds together doing a workshop on tomorrow at Speedway, Ernestine.
At Speedway?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this young lady.
Well, this is okay. It's not really about the young lady, but this.
No, it is. It is to me. No, she's the one who put this together, right?
Well, what's going on is she's the one that's in charge of all the workshops that they're going to be having. So what she was looking for is help, and I came in to say like we need to do new things with our community and stop having the same old type of workshops. So I let her know about organization.
Okay. Now what I'm asking you, because she's the liaison, she's the one who's inviting us in, and the reason I want to know about her is because I have reasons to know about it, because I know I have to understand my audience. And the people who put it together, I don't want anything to flash back to her from outside of us being there and her. So, you want to know how to perform and what to say. Is there a language barrier? What can be said and what can't be said, for the most part of how a person speaks. I'm not talking about the topic in and of itself, but how a person speaks, because I speak and I may say things that others find offensive because the Western world has told them that it's an offensive word, and I don't believe in that. So I just want to know who she is, how she is, what does she believe in? Is she black? Is she elderly? Is she young? Is she middle-aged? Or whatever it is about it, so I can get a sense of who I'm coming to meet, because I've never met her before. That's why I asked you about her.
All right, I get that, but what we need to do tomorrow is this our first time coming in there, so it's definitely low-key. And going with the vibe of what's going on to somebody else that was having something going on about bullying, and they also know that we was doing the conflict resolution on the 30th, so they wanted you and for us to come in, and especially you to come in, okay, because they want to be able to talk to the children about being able to avoid conflict in some type of way. Now, as far as she's black, she's middle-aged, probably in her 40s. I forget, between there, 40 and 50. So I think she's in her 40s. Pretty much, you're in the school setting, so it's very restricted. It's PTA style, basically. So, I mean, it's the honesty without the, So we have to get our audience. This is not our thing. This is something we was asked to participate in somebody else's, just to get in the door and get a look.
Right. No, I mean, I'm understand. That's understandable. Everywhere we go, that's our audience, because that's who we come to speak to. So they're automatically your audience. No, I'm not saying that you're the presentator.
Right, but
I understand.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying.
When you come back next in November, that's going to be something that you put together. Mindful of what you see on tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm going to be that anyway, but it just gives you an idea, because, like I said, I don't write this stuff. I speak from the vibration I get. I mean, my I believe what I believe. It comes out basically the same way all the time, because I don't have no way to disguise my truth. But I just it's just a thing that speakers like to know their audience. The kids, what age is the kids going to be?
This is a elementary school, so this age, as far to my knowledge, is from pre-K to 8th grade, so it can vary.
Yeah. But okay.
So I don't know exactly who they put up for this.
Well, we know that. I would assume that nobody from the 3rd grade down will be there. There will be no 1st, 2nd, and graders in the audience. Unless the child is there with the mother and she has an elder child.
And the thing is, what happened, what's going on with us when we come in and we do these workshops, we're coming in right at the school program. So this is at the time that these parents are picking up the children for at the school program, and then they're jumping right into this workshop. Okay. So that's how, they're pulling more people in from that and whatever,
Oh, wow. Okay. And time-wise?
It's only going to be about an hour. It's going to, I would say the most time we'll be there is an hour and a half. She said we can come there a little early, so I would say I wouldn't be there no earlier than 5:30, but 5:30 just to be on time. They said they usually run about a 40-minute slot from 6 to 6:40, so you figure you may interact with somebody, get phone numbers, whatever, talk about what, yada, yada, yada. So at 7 o'clock, we out of there, the latest.
Okay. Oh no, but what I was saying, how much time do I have to speak?
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk to her particularly, but on the next segment in November, that time you'll have, majority of that time will be yours.
Okay, we'll deal with November.
Okay,
November.
Can I say something real quick?
No. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, what I'm hearing is that this is kind of just like an intro.
It
and
is.
the next time we come, we be prepared to do more of a presentation. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, so that means that I'm able now to give everybody their own time for them to make their own presentations however they want to come to the community, however they want to be positively affecting the community. You can bring that to the table. So, we already talked about Vadane coming out and doing the taxes and insurance and stuff like that. We talked about him coming out with the conflict resolution. We talked to him about you, Adrian. So it's just that we all got to figure out where we're coming from. We talked about history, you know what I'm saying? So we have to find ways that we do this where we pull them on out. And this is so we can build out organizations.
Okay.
So this is just an opportunity, but they had openings for workshops. So we got to work it in a workshop form. And then we can bring them into other things and other environments that we are controlling, that we can do the way we want to, but this is how we have to walk in the door. And I just, I'm thankful.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know if Avadane got a chance to send anything to them. Avadane, are you here?
Yes, I am here. I sent them the information on Star, yes.
Okay. So I'll talk to her in the morning, but tomorrow she said we're able to be there a little early. I would say 5:30 is good. And then we can see how everything is going and how we're going to be able to work in that environment. But now it gives us an opportunity for us to do other things.
Thank you. Star, can I make an announcement, please?
Sure you can.
So, Forrest, if you can help me with this, because I don't have the Billionaire Mastermind free call-in number in front of me, but I'm looking at, so the Billionaire Mastermind Forum is an 8 a.m., 5-day-a-week podcast. And this Wednesday at 11 a.m., they're hosting a program called Healing the Inner Child. Healing the Inner Child, a tool to transcend the darkness into light, with Veron Barnett, Joni, and Janine Ingram, and Deborah Ricky. So the number, if you can grab a pen, anyone who's interested, or something to write with, use your device. It's a dial-in number. It's 667-770-1523. And the PIN number is 915358#. I'm going to repeat it. And Forrest, if you have the other number that you can call in for free, I would appreciate it. If not, you can call me and I'll get it to you. So again, it's the Billionaire Mastermind Forum, and the talk on Wednesday the 11th at 8 a.m. is titled Healing the Inner Child, a tool to transcend the darkness into light, with Veron Barnett, Joni, Janine Ingram, and Deborah Ricky. So the number again, 667-770-1523. PIN code 915358#. Forrest, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'll call King David. I never hardly hit the replay. I had it, but when I listen to the original, I never go back on the replay because it sticks with me. But I'll reach out to King David so he can come on real quick and give it to you.
Thank you. I'm not looking for the replay right now. He could give us that as well. I'm looking for the other number that you call. It's another number that you call where you're not charged. But if he might have that as well. Okay, guys.
Yeah, let me reach out to him now for you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
This sounds like it's going to be very inspirational and very moving. They do have a replay. All of their calls you could call back in up until 9 a.m. the next day to listen to the replay of all of their calls. They're really great. the different guests they have on. Many of the guests that come on here, especially through Fari's show, are also on there. Powerful. But I love this title, and I just happened to be scrolling while we were listening to Star, and I said, wow, this is good. I mean, and it is that time. Timing is everything, and this is that time for cleansing yourself and learning the tools to help others cleanse, and especially our children. Especially our children. Thank you, Star.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I have it here. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, that's not. Continue. No. Continue. You sent me something different.
Well, I just want to make sure that we let everybody know that everybody is welcome to come and participate and support. And so that when we do this, we're also going to make sure that we met up at the event. We said that we would be making sure that we also find a way to partner and help Mr. Ham, Morris Ham, as he move forward. And he may even pop in on tomorrow. I don't know. But the information has been given to him, and what we want to do is continuously keep building that relationship as we all step up. I think this is going to help all of us to move forward because we know that we have something to do as one unit, and we have other things to do as we separate and move into the other areas that we have to do. But we always need to keep networking and building and strengthening so that we can grow strong, together and accomplish our goals. So tomorrow, 6 after 5:30 p.m., and the address is 701 South Orange Avenue. And the name of the school is Speedway Elementary. Well, Speedway Academy, 701 South Orange Avenue in North. And the zip code is 07105. And so we're reaching out to everybody. We need our organizational team, our podcast team, all of us to come together so we can be able to, help each other and push each other and hold each other up. Thank you, Star.
I'm sorry, Deborah, my phone cut me off. I didn't hear the first little part of what you were saying. So are we going to come together before going to the school?
We're just going to meet up at the school at 5:30.
Okay.
That should be good enough for us, and whatever we think we should do, just put our best foot forward and make sure they ask us to come back again and again and again. Right, Star?
Okay, do me a favor, Deborah, call my number when you get off and leave the address on my voicemail.
Yes, I will. And I was trying to see if provider name was send some information out to, those in the group so that we know, or give us something that we can post, because I was in school the last 2 weeks and it was crazy for me. And you know what I mean, Adrian. Those 11 o'clock, get in the room and then turn around and pack your room up to go home and all of that craziness. So it's crazy. But good. By
the grace of God, I'll be there. I'm going to have to Uber it up. I'll be lifted up there and home, but I'll be all right.
Okay. Excuse me a second. King David, good afternoon, good evening. How are you?
Fantastic and amazing.
Very good.
Thank you, David.
But I wanted to know, I was sharing this Wednesday's event for the Billionaire Mastermind Forum, Healing the Inner Child, and I gave the regular call-in number, but I know there's also another call-in number that you can call in for free. Do you happen to know that number?
The replay or the other call?
No,
which
not the
number?
replay. I think they gave it to me.
I have the moderator number. I'll get it for you. Okay, let me go to the website and get it.
Okay.
Check back.
Okay. So thank you. I believe the number I gave is the number you could call in for free. And then the other number is the 712-432-1085.
Correct.
Right.
That's the replay.
That's the replay.
Right.
Okay, with the
Same
code
password.
91538.
915358.
Correct. Okay.
Right.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you again, Star.
Now, this show that you're talking about right now, partner, that's this Wednesday?
That's correct. This Wednesday at 8 a.m. So the Billionaire Mastermind Forum is a
8
podcast. 8 a.m. It's 5 days a week, 8 a.m. They have their podcast show. This Wednesday, that's when they're presenting Healing the Inner Child. But every day they have a different speaker and a different topic, and very, very valuable talks on there. And it's called the Billionaire Mastermind Forum.
I'll be on the road at 8 a.m. I'll be on my way to Atlanta tomorrow. On Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah, Wednesday.
I guess my cousin might take the first 7 hours.
Okay. But again, there's a rebroadcast of it, and
sorry. I don't mean to be rude. Vanessa, that's the number you just gave?
Yes. So there's two numbers. It's the 667-770-1523, 1523, with the PIN code of 915358.
Going too fast, Savannah. I'm going too fast.
Yes. So hold on a second. Just let me get my pen. Okay. So, all right, I'm ready.
Okay. So it's 8 a.m. on Wednesday. The dial-in number is 667-770-1523. With the PIN code 915358.
The Billionaire. Okay.
The Billionaire Mastermind Forum, and this talk is titled Healing the Inner Child, a tool to transcend the darkness into light.
So this one is for Wednesday night, when every day is they have one at 8.
It's Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning.
Every morning.
8 a.m.
Okay, every morning at 8 a.m. Okay.
All right.
Yes. Including
Tuesday is Think and Grow Rich.
Tuesday is Think and Grow Rich?
Yes, we're doing the book.
Oh, okay. So on Tuesday mornings, 8 a.m., they're doing a series on Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Star?
Everything is done?
Everything is done. Thank you.
Okay. Let me just do the lineup before I close out. We have the morning prayer call at 7 a.m. Grace Space with Deborah, Jada, and Karen at 6 a.m. and the Pink Sofa Talk with Caroline Lucille. And we know that the first and the third Wednesday is, exclusively the ladies only, and the second and the fourth Wednesday of the month is all inclusive. And we have the King's Roundtable the last Monday of every month. And with that, we're preparing to close. Monday Night Football is on. I can catch some of the game. And that's my thing. And Georgie, Aaron, you still there? I think he had the football practice thing. So with that, I'm gonna say goodnight to everybody. And I see everybody. Yes.
It's Carol Lucille. If I could just interject, it's Tuesday. Pink Sofa and Gray Space, Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, tomorrow. And all are
Let's keep
welcome.
that tomorrow.
All are welcome tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
All right.
Tomorrow evening. Well, all are welcome to the prayer call in the morning. Tomorrow evening.
What? Yes. Carol, woo.
Just saying.
Yes, yes.